There are certain mistakes you should never make when writing a cover letter for Upwork. So in this episode, we're going to talk about 10 of the worst mistakes you can ever make. Let's dive in. Number 1, writing a confusing salutation. A confusing salutation is something like, "Dear Sir" or "Madam." When a client reads this, he's going to be confused because you're trying to fix both genders in one. Instead of writing "Dear Sir" or "Madam," write something like "Hi." Simple, precise, and it does the work. Also, you can use something like "Hello." The second mistake is being overconfident, to assume that you know it all. So for instance, you say something like, "I know your needs. I am certain that I know all your needs." Nobody is ever certain about what a client needs. Even if they clearly state it on their job listing, you might not know exactly what they need. So never be overconfident. Never try to show that you know everything. You'll need some guidance along the way. On the other hand, number 3, don't show lack of confidence. Showing lack of confidence entails using words like "I think I can," "I believe I can." They portray that you're not very confident about yourself. A client needs to identify freelancers who are confident in themselves. Number 4, showing your flaws or talking about your flaws. Especially if you're a new freelancer, you say something like, "I know I don't have the experience, but I can do this." When a client looks at your profile, they'll see that you have not done things before, so obviously you don't have the experience, but you don't have to mention it in the cover letter. A client needs to focus on the value that you can give them, not on your flaws. So avoid talking about your flaws. Number 5, making promises. You should never make promises to your client because you cannot be certain that you will deliver. Promises also come out as being desperate. You're trying to show that you need this more than others. "I promise you that I'm going to deliver this in the next 1 hour. I promise you I will do my best. I promise you that the articles that I'm going to provide are going to have the most impact." Those are promises that you cannot even substantiate. Never make promises in your proposal. Don't use the word "I promise." Okay. Number 6, it's appearing desperate. Using words like please give me this job. Using any word that shows that you are desperate for this job is bad for you. A client will sniff out the desperation in you and they will not be confident giving you the job, because people who have mastered their art are confident and they don't have to beg for jobs. Don't show your desperation in your cover letter. Number 7, it's providing more than necessary. When you're asked to provide at least 2 articles that you have written before, you start providing 4 articles. So what are the 2 extra ones for? You're not even following instructions. You've been asked for 2, you're giving 4. So which means you're just too eager to get this job. You don't care about the instructions. Avoid that. Never give something that is not asked for. And this goes with the 8th point, which is offering services that you have not been asked for, unsolicited services. So for instance, you are applying for a job, a freelance writing job, and then you've been given there's a topic that has been mentioned in the listing. So what you do, you say that you already have a draft of how the article is going to look and you want to provide it to the client if they need it. That is going out and beyond. And to some people, to some clients, it might actually turn out look like desperation. You do not have to offer free services until the point where you actually start interacting with your client. So wait for them to first accept you, then you can start doing those additional free services. Number 9, it's asking questions. Asking questions, you should not ask your client questions. An example of a question that you can ask a client is something like, when you're done with your cover letter, then at the bottom you want to maybe engage. It's usually a strategy that people use as a call to action. You ask a question so that you can initiate an action back from the client. So you ask something like, "Would you like to connect so that we can discuss this project?" So that's an example of a question that you might ask as a call to action. So that's not a very good approach. And instead, you should actually use real call to action statements. And the best example is, "Book a call with me if this is what you want." So that's an example of a call to action that is straight to the point, giving the exact thing that you want the client to do. Number 10, It's writing long cover letters. Ideally, your cover letter should be between 250 words and 300 words. You can imagine the number of proposals that a client goes through before they select a writer or a freelancer to work for them. Just put in the necessary information and make it between 250 and 300 words. That's all. Avoid these 10 mistakes and you will be well on your way to getting more clients.